I mean, what we really are we really, very often we are presented as enemies. Is it so?
You see, the problem I see in the West, really, you have two problems now, and that's why you waste our time. Because there's nothing that we don't know, either in Africa or in the world. So, but what I see on your side, you seem not to have enough information. You seem to have two problems. You seem to have some deficit in philosophy, but also deficit of information. So therefore, when it comes to now, the question is, are we enemies? For us, we don't see you as enemies. But somehow, you don't see that by involving yourselves in matters which you don't understand well, and which you shouldn't, even if you understood, these are not your matters, these are our matters. These are our internal affairs. Even if you had a good understanding, it would not be in order for you to involve yourself. Apart from the fact that you may not even have the understanding. So really, that is the issue. It's not enemies, it is, I would call it misconduct. Misconduct, mishandling, which can lead to very serious consequences. Like in the case of Congo. Up to now, it has never recovered. Here in Uganda, the phenomenon of Idi Amin was supported by, was actually promoted by some groups to take over power here. And then once he was in power, he was supported for some time. But for us, we opposed him from the word go. So again, there we had spent 8 years solving the problem of Idi Amin. So when those riots happened, they were attacking. They were attacking the security forces using pangas, using hammers, so some of them were shot. By 32 of them were shot in that process. It's clear that one. But then the other 32, the other 22, these are the ones I need much more clarification. Then I will share it with you. There's nobody whom cannot be accounted for. They will account for him. So I thank you very much. We have had a very good discussion, and we are now discovering that we are not enemies. Certainly, we don't want to be the enemies of the Europeans, because many of them are our good friends, especially the ordinary people. Now, with the European Union, we don't have a joint supervisory body. Which one is that?
It's called the Joint ACP-EU Parliamentary Assembly. Representatives from parliaments from all over these countries come together and they meet regularly and they go through issues which affect their relationships. It's not a binding, but it's a supervisory, it's a monitoring mechanism. So there is something along those lines
yes,
as well.
But it's not supervising sovereign units. It's not supervising sovereign units. So why can, first of all, the European Parliament are the ones who met alone. They didn't have the SCP. It was not a joint, we are represented. It's
the responsibility of the European Union Parliament, as well as this joint assembly, it is mentioned in the treaty as well, saying you have to monitor, you have the responsibility to look into this, and they do it.
To supervise Uganda.
No, to compare what we have agreed with what is actually happening. They say, you know, we agreed to respect these human rights. We agreed to work with civil society. We agreed, and then say, I don't think this is actually happening. And then they bring those issues to our attention. That is what they do. They bring to our attention without infringing.
But for us, you see, if we agree on by agreement, it is not transfer of sovereignty, we agree, then who interprets that agreement? Is it in order for you to unilaterally interpret it and you condemn, or do you consult? You consult. If we have agreed, like for instance with Kenya, we have agreed this, we have agreed this, about the milk, about this. When the agreement is not lived by, we consult. We consult. We don't condemn because they are an equal partner. We don't condemn. I don't know how you people you help the. Some you are the lawyer.
Well, Your Excellency and Excellencies, there are obligations under treaties, but the fundamental part of those treaties that you are partners.
Yes.
You are partners. Nobody is superior to the other. And when you have differences, there are ways of resolving differences. I think they are also laid out in the agreements. So, but what the President is saying is you rush to condemn a partner. Many times, really, with veiled threats, and everybody knows what the threats are all about. But that's not the spirit of partnership. I think dialogue, engagement, and I have had discussions with them about this before.
All right, welcome back, family. That was a statement, a bold speech from Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the long-time serving president of Uganda. Many people call him a dictator, but I love how Yoweri Kaguta Museveni responds to the people, because he asked one day that how can you call a dictator who has been elected 5 times in the office? How can you? Because the country of Uganda, Uganda themselves, they feel like they're okay. They're okay with their president. They feel like the country's in peace. So they say that they chose peace over violence, over crisis, over war. That's why they're just okay with their long-time serving dictative president. And now, sometimes I like how he responds to the Europeans. Sometimes I like how he responds to the West, because the country of Uganda is one of the countries that the West have not dominated, have not got the chance or opportunity to go and introduce their own dictative policies. In Uganda, there is no exploitation of resources. What is in Uganda belongs to the people of Uganda. Now, that's why I call this that Kaguta Yoweri Museveni of Uganda has joined Ibrahim Traore, because what Ibrahim Traore is trying to do or to fight against the imperialists and the Westerners is what the same as how Ugandan president is doing to the Western people. And he told them clearly that we are not enemies, but you have to learn on how to deal with your own issues. You have to learn on how to deal with your own, to mind your own businesses. Because these people have been always minding the business that does not belong to them. Whenever they see something happening in African countries, they respond. And they only respond to only the incident that happens, which seems to be maybe going to affect what they benefit from the country. If your country has nothing, like mineral, then the people of West will not be interested. They will never come into interfere whatever you are doing.
And their corporations control the resources. Africa doesn't own their own wealth. It's their wealth, but they don't own it. Western companies own the mines in Africa. They extract the minerals. They set the prices. They ensure that the wealth will never benefit the people whose wealth it truly is. I mean, look at Congo today. Congo produces 70% of the world's cobalt. That's the mineral that powers your smartphone, your laptop, your electric car. Without Congolese minerals, there's no Tesla, there's no Apple, there's no Samsung. Yet the people of Congo remain among the poorest people in the world. Why?
That's why many of African countries are just facing problems. The citizens are facing challenges, but the West, as they cannot come and interfere with it. We have some countries here. DJT is the world's superior leader, who have the authority to make the decision that is only to help other countries. But he only focus on the countries that have something for him to benefit. But once your country has nothing to benefit, then he has nothing to do with you. You saw what happened in the country of Tanzania, in Africa. You saw what happened in Cameroon. People are just being taken down. The youths are being silenced. But he has nothing to do with it because he has nothing to benefit from those countries. That's why they are not able to come and solve this problem. So that's why I said earlier that sometimes Museveni, we call him dictator, but he's a good dictator. Because first of all, he cared about his people. And he's not giving the opportunities to the people who have the interest of coming to dominate and exploit his country. He banned a lot of foreign things in his country. So he comes out and he speaks his mind. He explained to us how Muammar Gaddafi was taken down and how Africans responded and how NATO from America was commanding African leaders, and the African leaders obeyed. They stepped down. They left Gaddafi alone. And Gaddafi was easily taken down when the African leaders were there watching with nothing to do. The entire continent of 54 states being controlled by individuals, by a few group of people, less than 10 men controlling the entire continent of Africa with 54 nations, independent countries. This is so annoying. So what Traore is doing is what Museveni is doing today. I passed across a video one day. The same Museveni was saying that sometimes selfishness is good and it's bad. But now he has tried to see how selfishness is good through Ibrahim Traore. Because when today you sit down, we have come to learn that today in Africa, when you sit down to wait for you to get what you feel it's good for you or to your people, then you will die waiting. So all these people who are doing coup, all this country that has experienced coup d'etats, they're the countries that the people who took or who did these actions, they sat down, they observed, and they felt that if we sit down to wait for democracy to take place, then our countries will be destroyed. Our people will be swept away. And all that we are having will be taken away. That's why they decided to come out and act. That's why we are having coups. And people are celebrating, welcoming it, hyping the names of the military leaders. Because these are the people who tried to make the tough decisions. But later on, it bared fruits. And the people of those countries are celebrating, are enjoying the governance under their military leaders than the leadership of the democratic leaders who call themselves democracies while they are doing things that are, I don't know what they're thinking of. They turned into monsters. Today, you know all that happened in the country of Tanzania during their election period. Thousands of people were massacred. And nothing happened. because the constitution there, which they call the constitution of the land, does not give the leader, the citizens, any power, but only gives the government and the president the much power. So whenever she comes out to do whatever she do, you have nothing to do against about it. You have no place to go and appeal. You have nowhere to take her. That's why, after all, we talked, we came out speaking, crying, but nothing has ever been done. Nothing has done from the incidents. So, once upon a time, Joshua Maponga said that Kaguta Yoweri Museveni of Uganda is not a problem. Because today, even if we have someone else who will come through this country, he will not be able to change the situation of this country. Because this country is being ruled by the system. And this system that was set there was set in a certain way of operating things. So unless you find a leader that will be able first to deal with the system, to change the system of the country, to change and bring the new constitution that will be giving power to the people, because we have to know first thing that power always belongs to the people, because these people are the ones who make decisions, who wake up in the morning to go and vote for the leaders they want, the leaders of their choices. But what happened? They are not able to be given the opportunity to make their own decisions, because the power that was supposed to belong to them is not belonging to them anymore. But the power is belonging to the politicians, the leaders, but not the citizens. That's why the citizens, the leaders, are able to wake up in the morning and make the decision that is only going to benefit them. And depress the citizens. So we have to wake up as Africans. We have to wake up as Africans and fight back for those people who are there to make us not to develop, not to have anything good, but only for them to benefit. I'm talking about the Westerners, because they have never had any interest of developing or building African continent, but they were only here to make us down, to put us down, to keep us down, so that they can have the opportunity to come and sneak in our countries, take everything. Tell me what out of the comment section. Be blessed and love you so much. Thank you.